Hello there, boys and girls, and welcome to 100 Days on Hardcore and TNP Limitless 6+. This mod pack includes 614 mods, lots of content from quests to OP bosses, monsters, and more. So grab some food, grab a drink, and buckle up. This is going to be a long one. Alright, can I survive 100 days in TNP Limitless 6? Here we go. Attempt number 3. The reason I say third attempt is, well, this will speak for itself. Alrighty. I guess we start off by getting some wood. What is that? 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 What's that? What is that? Okay. We call this crafting. We just got a loot bag. Oh, quest. And we also got a soul fire apple, an illegal beacon, and a fluorite block. An illegal beacon. He plays it down like. Oh, that spawns a boss. That's great. I'm gonna die already. Yep. Okay. All right. We're gonna see how long I can survive. Okay. So looks like we got some stuff to explore. I kind of want to go break those lucky blocks because you know what's wrong with lucky blocks? Breaking everything, honestly. But you know we're gonna do it anyways. Just, oh! Holy! That hasn't killed me yet. I got some rune metal. A shade bogan. Okay. An AK-47? What? And then I blew up. I spawned on this terracotta biome with a lot of beautiful landscapes. I immediately claimed my starter gear from the quests. There will be loads of quests in this mod pack. I started off by doing your normal basics of Minecraft. I see here the Vine RPG starter house and decided to check that out first. Inside the house I found an armor stand with a golden helmet. Quickly equip that, then go to loot the chest. The first had iron boots and a dormant eye. And all of a sudden I heard voices in my head.
Another demigod wanders this forsaken land. Let me accompany you in your journey. Perhaps you will manage that which others could not.
I grabbed the emerald, I grabbed the helmet, grabbed the step assist, the bread, the helmet, I grabbed the bed, and I grabbed all that hay. That's a lot of hay. Also, I started mining up some trees. Start by eating this, even though it's gonna poison me. I then claimed the quest rewards and crapped up my first loot bundle. Unfortunately, nothing good in it. Every time you eat different foods, you gain health. For all the different diversity of foods you eat. As long as you stay... Yeah, that guy, I don't want to mess with that guy. I then spawned a guard and decided to loot this place very carefully and sneakily. Unfortunately, the guard saw me, and I barricaded myself inside the house. Oh, leave me alone. Just go looting. After looting a few of the different chests, I ended up crafting myself an emerald sword. Get a potato. Carrot. I then started heading my way down into the dungeon. Unfortunately, the starter room had some issues spawning in, but I actually called this little starter room home for a long while. I started mining out some stone and then made myself an emerald pickaxe as the sun set on day 1. So that's officially it. That is day 1. I wake up, grab the completed quest, and get ready to go loot this dungeon. Okay, we don't want to go down here. Okay. There we go, get a heart. This is a subscriber checkpoint. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It would really help me out a lot. As well as like the video if you want. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm done. Some food I haven't eaten yet. Finally got some iron. Glowstick and redstone. It's now time for a little inventory sorting montage. The inventory doesn't get better until day 60, by the way. This gives me max health. Give me that. That's what I'm talking about. Ring of poison resistance. That's amazing. After looting the dungeon, I finally had enough iron to make myself an iron-tiered backpack. Somnium. I ended up getting somnium and eating it. You'll find out later why this was bad. I ended up finally having enough gold to craft myself the gold-tier backpack. I then crafted myself a thing called a dink, which is like a backpack, but way better. Coral Tombstone is in here, and you can actually get different perks based on what you do on the mod itself. Stealth. I think I want this one. Nice, gain some more hearts. That's good. Damn, these are Alf Steel boots. These are insane. Oh look, all different plants and the redstone blocks. That's good. What that? A shadow beast? Are you friendly? You don't seem very friendly. Alright, you're gonna have to die. Grab some arrows. This is an example of all the mods that I added in extra that are actually gonna be no use later on. I think it's not friendly. Sorry. Bunch of other stuff, so I guess I'll keep the seed. After looting the dungeon, I took a look at my map and I found the secret room on it. I then entered the secret room, looting everything, including the 2 emerald blocks that were underneath the stairs inside the room. Night of day 3 is spent by just slashing away, torching spawners, then mining them all, looting some chests, and then returning back to home base and sleeping for the night. Day 4, claiming quests, opening loot bags. The deck is nice and all, but I need to start on the most useful storage, called the pocket storage. Very useful and amazing mod. One of my personal favorites. Anyways, I get to tier 2. I set my home to my starter room, and then I head down to the next floor of the dungeon. Oh, let's go. I got my first diamond. I ended up getting 6 diamonds from a quest reward. I still don't understand where it came from. Anyways, I took those diamonds and made the pocket storage tier 3. I got this air item in the loot bundle. It just kind of changes infinitely. I then continue looting the rest of the 3rd floor. Iron Night of day 4. Dolphin's Grace. Day 5. I'm at the stairwell to the 4th floor. This is where it gets a little more difficult. Nothing I can't handle. This continues on to the whole entire day. Yeah, of course, gotta check the secret room. One more. Ooh, diamond boots! Boy, and a ring of strength. Until the sun set and night of day 5, we approach the final floor of the dungeon. Alright, last floor. Night of day 5, I reached the final floor. A lot of it, unfortunately, didn't spawn in correctly, but still some good loot. I also found this really uncommon mineshaft dungeon, but unfortunately, I don't even loot it. I guess I just kind of forgot about it. That's something I will end up doing if you guys want to see 200 days in this mod pack. Having just completed the dungeon, we start off the day with some real easy free quests on day 6. You can literally make a diamond backpack right now. We'll sleep, and day 7 we're going exploring. Day 7. Today I have one thing on the mind, exploring. I want to get out of my starter room and see if I can find a place to live or just some good loot. I head back to the town from day 1 and start to fully loot it. That's good. Get eat up. There we go. Oh, I love the different types of heads. Those are my favorite. Say less. Ooh, chests. Oh, and more cool head for books. I love these heads. They're like my favorite thing in the game, dude. There's an elephant merchant trader thing. I end up buying something, which, again, I never end up using. Seems to be a common thing with me. Oh, Okay, there are dinosaurs in this game now. Good to know. There's an example of me not knowing what I added. Casually some dinosaur-looking creatures in the Badlands. As the sun starts to set on day 7, I head back to my starter room. Day 8. It's a new day and I'm ready to fully explore outside of my spawn area. Fortunately, it started to rain, so sorry if it's bad quality. I found this weird stone hedge looking thing and there's a stone guard inside of it. I ended up killing it and there was an echo shard and an item frame on the center platform. I look over the cliff to see a house to my left and a ruined portal and another house right below me. I decided to check out the portal first, then check out the house. Leap of faith. While looting the ruined portal, a sky village shard loaded in, as well as a whole kingdom. From yet again, another one of the mods I decided to add in. I start heading into the first building. Looting the entire place seems like only potions. However, I did find a speed everlasting ability. Looting until the sunset, I decided to sleep in the purple bed in the attic. Day 9, I woke up and started to finish looting the basement, then decided to go and check out the house on the other side. While going to check out the house on the other side, I ended up running into those dinosaur creatures, and ended up taking him out. I then opened up some loot bags, nothing too good in it besides a water-breathing ring, as well as a spectral eye, which reveals hostile mobs, which was a really cool thing. Unfortunately, it didn't use it very long. How does it reveal them? Oh! Wow, that's cool. After looting the entire place, getting some okay loot, including everlasting jump boost 2. I jumped into the water to test out my new water-breathing ring. Well, I got water breathing and the ability to move fast in water. This is gonna be nice. I then approached the huge castle where I told myself I wanted to live, but realizing it wasn't very livable. While heading to the castle, my Spectre's eye highlighted a green mob, meaning a boss mob, so I started fighting that as the sun set. To killing him, he dropped a really nice bow. I used his bow for a while. Then I ended up gaining a heart, then teleported back home to sleep for the night. Day 10, I woke up and combined my 2 bows to make one epic one. Something I definitely wanted to do today was check out that Sky Village for some early game loot, villagers, and trades. So I ended up collecting some stone bricks from the boss dungeon room and stacking up to the island. While building over to it, I saw emeralds underneath all the islands. These are going to be very handy later on. The first village I find was the cleric, and I have been collecting a bunch of rotten flesh, so I started giving this man all my flesh. Once I got to apprentice, to start offering some stuff from the castle mod, and I'm gonna just say this, you see this mod like these next 2 days, and then I don't really bother with it again. I popped down in Waystone and continuing looting the rest of the houses. I found a librarian. In this pack, Easy Villagers is a thing, where you can re-roll the villager trades automatically. My goal was to get some good early game enchants that might help me. I am getting a Silk Touch, but then all of a sudden this man just vanished. I think he fell to the side or something. Never see him again. Leave a comment saying RIP Silk Touch Villager, day 10. I then continue looting the rest of the islands. Jump boost 3. Doing trades in the village as the sun set. I had an idea. Why don't I just go sneak over to the castle, assassinate the king and the queen? So as the nighttime approached, that's exactly what I did. I started building over towards the castle from the other nerd pole bridge thing. I built a tower across from the king and queen and did what I had to do. He does. I got him. Unfortunately, I couldn't snipe the knight, but he didn't seem to aggro me. Once again, I just kind of installed some mods, not knowing what they did or added into the entire night. Finding 2 wither skulls until the morning of day 11 was spent looting the castle. Day 11, I continue looting the castle. Come to find out, there are several towers and kings and queens all over. I decided to lower the rankings. Alright, well, the knights are dead. And the king is dead. In the distance, I end up spotting another mod I added in, Crystal Forest, as well as this weird amethyst shrine thing, another castle, and a acacia woodland mansion. I spent most of this day just looting the castle. Skeleton key, single use. Oh my god. Yep, there's more right here. And finding out if you kill bouncy mobs, you can turn them in for money. After gaining another heart, as the sun started to set, I decided to look for those bounty mobs. I ended up spotting it through the wall again, and it literally dropped me down a hole. So I killed it, and it didn't drop its head. But around the camp there was other heads. I took one of them as a trophy, and the other I turned into the quest block. Got some coins. I felt like a rich man, but that's about the last time you ever see this mod again. As the night goes on, I continue exploring and see a waystone tower. I climbed up to the top, looted the chest, and headed back to the Sky Village, and slept for the night. Day 12, I wake up and got back into the villager trading. I wanted emeralds in case I found a vending machine, which I'll explain once we get to it. Realizing I have the Easy Villagers mod, I pick up all the townspeople and put them in my backpack, as well as their stations. After doing that, I decided to take another gander at the librarian. This time I got a Scavenger 1, and I immediately locked it in and picked him up. After looting the village, I waystone over back to the tower and pick up the waystone. A dungeon on my map, and in distance, and started heading toward it. On my way to it, I saw this structure that looked like a hobbit hole that has a zombie villager at the bottom. So I spent the rest of the day curing the villager. While it cured, I ended up going to sleep in the hobbit hole for the night. Day 13, I woke up to make sure it was still there, and it was. After I finished curing, I started trying to get another good enchant book from the librarian, and it offered me Endless Quiver for 1 emerald, which is infinity with any arrow. So I bought that, picked him up, and started heading towards the location of the dungeon. Well, on my way there, I found this witch's village that had some interesting loot at it. I ended up having a bunch of Hexerite quests right in the houses. I collected them and the quest rewards and slept in one of the houses in the town. Day 14, as soon as I woke up, I head towards the dungeon. With the dungeon in sight, I saw this blue tent in the distance from the graveyard mod. I went over to loot it. Here we go, enter the dungeon. This one has a jungle themed, and there was a proper starter room, but not in your normal place. I spent most of day 14 looting the first floor of the dungeon, including the secret room. This dungeon had a kobold's den right in the center of it. Sometimes mods don't work well, and generation things can be lousy. Not much they can do, but they kind of look cool. Continued looting, I found more everlasting ability bottles, so I got speed 2 and jump boost 4. Then this is the wandering trader that had nothing good to offer me, so I sent him packing. Looting the dungeon went into the entire night, and in the morning of day 15, I headed down to the next floor. Day 15, floor number 2, back at it again, just looting, torching, and killing anything that gets in my way. This goes on for the entire day into the night. Ring of Night Vision. Thank the Lord. And once the sun set, I headed down to floor number 3 and spent the entire night making my way through, killing and looting. I found the Sharpness 2 sword and a magnet ring. Continue killing and looting my way through the floor. I teleported home and combined the Sharpness 2 sword with my current one, then a fixed sword with it to have a nice sword early on. Till sunrise on day 16 while I looting the secret room. Day 16, I woke up inside the secret room. The entire day is spent killing and looting. Oh my god, efficiency 2, thank the Lord. After a while, I finished looting floor number 3, and once the sun set on day 16, I headed down to the 4th floor of the dungeon. While torching my way through the hallways, I came across this weird prismarine structure in the water attached to the dungeon. I ignored it for now and continued looting the whole night. What on earth? Okay. Ended up finding some quest items, a ring of speed. Once the sun rises on day 17, I was in the secret room about to go investigate where that marine structure is. Turns out it's one of those weird abandoned houses based on Terraria. Had a weird stone shovel that could break stone and wood. Loot bags and quest galore as the sun rose on day 17.
Holy Grail.
Day 17, I ended up opening 5 loot bags, getting a ring of max health. This was huge. Now I had even lower chance of dying. Then getting my first piece of ancient debris.
Ancient debris, that's a free.
And a Neptunium sword. I then had enough redstone to make Dank 2 and Dank 3. Even more storage. Then eating a poison potato gave me another heart as well. While looting this 4th floor, I ended up getting a looting 2 book.
Night robe.
This floor took me the whole night. It was extremely long. As the sun rised, once again, I was about to head down to the final floor of this dungeon. Before heading down to the last floor, I dumped my backpack. Sorry for you OCD viewers. Day 18, it's time for an inventory dumping montage. I then added my looting 2 book to my sword to get looting 3. After doing that, headed down, and the loot was beautiful. Getting quests left and right, as well as lots of loot. This continued into the nighttime and morning of day 19. Day 19, I'm still on the last floor of this dungeon, and there's so much loot. After looting all of the dungeon, I decided to go caving. While exploring the caves, I found this vindicator spawner room, which is a mediocre loot. I torched the spawners to use as an emerald farm later on. Then I ran into this wandering trader. Approached him with nothing good, so I had a little chat with him. Into the night was just caving, looting, and mob killing.
Yay, no loot bag! Ring of Dexterous Motion. Second one is a triple compressed lush dirt. That is also a mimic. I've yet to see one of these so far. Loot bag of a benevolent goddess.
I did end up getting some refined obsidian armor. That's gonna be helpful soon.
Oh, you please drop.
As the sun starts to rise, I found the final everlasting jump boost, which now gave me jump boost 5. Day 20, I'm still in these caves. I'm not gonna lie, I think I was just really enjoying the caving. That's why I was in there for so long. But after a while, I finally decided to teleport home and call it a night. Day 21, I woke up and I wanted to actually find a place to live or some places to loot. I'm big on looting, so expect to see a lot of that. I left the dungeon and started heading north of my spawn. I added in this Lucky Block mod, very similar to the OG Lucky Block mod, but not exactly. I'm breaking them from very far away so I don't end up exploding and dying. I end up getting a bunch of different items. Including this bow called a Shade Bogan and an AK-47. Next to the Lucky Block structure was another witch's house that had the logs that I needed to complete the quest.
A little more, and there we go. There's the 10 I need. There you go.
As the sun started to set, I started taking a look at my map, and I saw this purple meteor. I headed over to it. I had some okay loot, but the obsidian was the best for sure. I then continued my journey and found this strange structure. It had some chests and this totem that made you levitate, all from another mod I added. I had no idea what to do. Then I decided to go to sleep. Day 22, I continued my journey north in hope of finding something worth my time. I found this weird tree thing. No idea what it did. Past the tree, I ran into the first village, which I didn't have what I was looking for. Then another witch's village, and an airship just popped out of nowhere. I actually never even looted this airship. I just completely ignored it. I started looting the village, taking the job stations and the workers for my own. After looting the village, I saw one of those divine RPG houses. and just took the roof.
Creepy. Creepy.
I saw this boat and some beggars on the side of a mountain. The beggars had nothing, so I headed over to the boat. After looting the boat...
Ooh, a jellyfish necklace. That's a quest.
I saw this camp, like, on a mountain. This had this merchant that offered some things, something I could do because I didn't have the actual currency the mod needed. Continuing north, I found a house that was similar to the one I found in spawn. I looted it. And headed over to another dungeon, which I had a waystone generated right through the middle of it. This was the final dungeon of the whole 100 days of this kind. Day 23, as the sun rose, I was ready to do one last dungeon to see if I can get anything I didn't have or just more of what I had. Only the first floor generation was still pretty messed up. I had one of those abandoned houses right in the middle of it. I started looting the dungeon, chest by chest, taking out anything that got in my way, as well as taking out the spawner. It was really quick. While looting the dungeon, I ran into my first goblin trader. The random traders that offer you certain things, you mainly find them in caves. This one just happened to offer me a Fortune 4. I went back home, grabbed the Fortune 3 book and a pickaxe, and made the trade. I then ate some salmon, gained another heart. As the sun set, I continued looting the first floor, and a green boss spawned right in the middle of it. Then upgraded my dank to dank 4. Throughout the whole night, I was looting the first floor and started looting the second. Day 24, the sun rises and I'm still looting the second floor of the dungeon. This goes on the whole day. I'm about to go down to the third floor, head home, then realized I should make a feeding upgrade so I can eat food automatically, and it will help eat things so they can't be eaten normally. After making the upgrade, I headed back to the dungeon and looted the third floor all night long. Day 25, the sun rose again as I was still on the third floor of the dungeon. I ended up getting another step heisting ability. Then I accidentally fell into the fourth floor of the dungeon, started looting it. While going through, I noticed an insane amount of wither skeleton spawners in this dungeon. I torched off the spawners and made a mental note of where they were. Looting went into the night again. I found these diamond boots. I combined them with my current ones to make my boots for the majority of this playthrough. This dungeon was huge. I looted it all night long. As the sun rises, I head down to the final floor. Day 26, the sun rises once again, and I am heading to the last floor of this dungeon. Just as before, I take all the resources I can find on the floors. Made our redstone blocks, coal blocks, and nether blocks. As the sun was setting, this purple dinosaur was here and jump scared me. I continued looting. Then this spider dropped a Scavenger 3 book. Then I found this amazing and fixed sword. Then went back over to the dinosaur. He wasn't very friendly, so I bowed him down. I teleported back home, combined the sword with my current sword, and this is the iron sword I used for a while. It became my main weapon for a little bit. After that, I gained a heart, then headed up to bed. Day 27, I gave myself a rule. Every session I played, I get one random RTP, so I used it, and at the beginning today, it ended up taking me on a huge adventure. I started just wandering around and found these banana slugs in a small graveyard. I decided to loot it. After looting, I continued just wandering aimlessly, and at the sunset, I came across this hanging tree, which I was mind blown by, as well as the protector of the tree, the nameless hanged. He ended up being a trader. If you get corruption, you can trade it for different things. I placed it on a waystone, and my curiosity grew. I found the hidden loot inside the tree afterwards. I got shot by this skeleton that gave me the fear debuff, and it was very scary indeed.
Is it gone now? Just you.
I found this weird tower that had a villager in it. I ended up picking him up and the station and went to sleep in his bed. Day 28, I woke up and there was a ruined portal outside the tower. I looted it inside. I found my first Silk Touch pickaxe. Very helpful, even though I don't ever recall using it. Continuing on, when I found this like kitchen dining hall place with a bunch of different food I've never eaten before. So this was huge. Unfortunately, the chef and I had some disagreements and yeah. I found another crystal forest and decided to investigate it. I like the way the trees look, so I ended up taking some, as well as silk touching some of the shiny grass. I continued south. I found something incredible. I found a second village with 3 huge graveyard structures in the middle of it, as well as my first vending machine. So that vending machine is a mod I added where it will offer you anything in the game for a certain price. You can only get 8 max things that cost 1 emerald, and the trade offers are set daily. So that starts off being what I do at the beginning of every day until day 100. I end up buying some source stone bricks as well as some battle mage boots. Both I never use again, and I head off to bed in one of the villagers' houses. Day 29, I wake up and I head over to the vending machines, buy 8 of these cool lanterns. Anyways, after buying that, I bought a 1 winter leaf because it was food I'd never eaten. You see that a lot. Getting my next heart as well. After fully looting the village, I headed up to the first graveyard and looted it. Up until the sunset, and then headed to bed in the same villager's house. Day 30, I woke up and I immediately checked the vending machines. There was nothing worth buying in the first one, but the second one had insanium gemstone blocks, which I instantly bought. Fortunately, they were never used, but it was still a great deal. Happy to have gotten it, as well as 8 snowman lanterns. After doing that, I headed back up to the graveyard and continued looting it.
Ooh, a plus fortune!
Until the sun set again, and I went to sleep. Day 31, I woke up and straight to the vending machines I went. This was definitely my favorite mod that I added in. First vending machine had nothing good, and the second was an impulse buy. Purple carpet. I never used. Back to grave digging yet again.
You know, I think we should do it this way. I know it's there. Doesn't matter.
Until the sunset, and I slept for the night. Day 32. I hope you're seeing a pattern here because I wake up and go immediately back to the vending machine. Check out today's deal, and today was the day I ended up buying my main source of power in this entire pack. 8 hardened solar panels from Power. Never actually got into the mod, but I had a lot of stuff from it. Also bought some raisins. I went back to the graveyard digging. Doing this these last few days was very helpful. Ended up with lots of loot. Continued looting up until the sunset, and then I went to sleep. Day 33, another day into this, and we are instantly going to those vending machines. I spend the next 10 or so days here, I believe. Today's deal was a netherite machete, which just sounded cool, so I bought it. The other vending machine was offering a minecart with diamond chest, so I bought 8 of those because my storage was running very low, as well as some penderite, which never got used. Afterwards, I finished looting this graveyard. One of the graves had this zombie villager spawner, so I set down a waystone to use for later.
I see another plus fortune. Now a speed 3. These always have the best. Yes, one of these. Okay.
Then I headed to sleep. Day 34, I woke up and the vending machine, here I come. What do you have to offer me today? First one offered me some food I'd never eaten, so I bought that. Then the other one wasn't offering anything I wanted. Then I continued southwest and saw this beach hut, which I recalled had buried treasure loot in it. After doing that, I headed back to the graveyard and finished looting it. After looting the entire graveyard, I found the abandoned mansion from my very first playthrough of this pack. Made a note of it and went to sleep in the village. Day 35, guess what we're doing today? You guessed right, more vending machines. And I bought 2 things I never use. Moving on, we're looting the entire mansion the entire day. After gaining a heart, I collected up the black concrete to make myself the dock. Then continued looting. As the sun started to set, I went into the basement, which had some more loot, and the floor was made of andesite casing. So I took all of it and looted everything. They headed to the next room with a drop-off that had these weird long-necked creatures who I knew what they were from my last time playing this. Killed them. Broke the spawners. And looted everything down there. After that, I headed back home and went to bed. Day 36, I ended up buying this honey treat, which never got used, but the second vending machine has this really useful item which gave you +2 attack damage, so I instantly bought that. I went out exploring more, still haven't found a place to call home yet. I did, however, run into another Divine RPG starter house, mined the roof, looted the chest, and as well as took the armor stand this time. Exploring more, I found another hunter's camp. I was careful not to bump him. I had some more food that I was not able to eat yet. I was able also to complete another Hexerite quest. Continuing exploring east, I found a ruined portal. I hit that up and it had some okay stuff in it. After that, I continued exploring until when the sun set. I found this very strange thing. I had no idea what it did. JEI had no info on it. And I never looked at the wiki. I saw this house in the distance and took shelter there for the night. Day 37, I woke up and I went off looting and found another wine cellar-like house again that had another everlasting ability of step height. So now I can walk up 3 blocks. Left that place and headed over to another witch's village. And I was looking at my map and something was starting to hit me. So then I killed it. Then I hit the street that struck me with lightning. Very strange. I ended up making my way back to the village and bought some food I've never eaten, as well as an 8-stack upgrade, which never got used. The other machine had nothing in it. Unfortunately, I decided to teleport home and unload all my loot. It's time for an inventory dumping montage. After unloading the majority of everything, I went to sleep. Day 38, I woke up and I wanted to test out my new fortune pickaxe, so I grabbed the diamond ore from the graveyard and tested it out. 2 diamond ore gave me 6 diamonds. Fortune 4 was very nice. After that, I teleported back to the vending machine. First one had nothing, but the second one had these potato lanterns. I bought 8 of them and never used them. I teleported back home and started working on some quests. I used the chisel mod to convert my stone brick into stone. I then was looking for my source stone. After looking for the source stone, I used a XP scroll. And I found the source gems and made some source stone. After getting the quest reward, I started working on some of these other quests. I made the Charm of the Treasure Hunter, which was pretty easy, getting ashes from nether ruined chests. The charm gives you plus 30% mining speed and plus 1 fortune level. So my fortune 4 would become fortune 5. I then continued my quest grind and made some teleportados. After that, I used all my pieces to make bundles. I ended up getting some useful stuff, a warden helmet and a crystal pickaxe, which comes in handy. Then I decided to go to sleep. Day 39, I woke up and I started working on the salvaging machine that can break down items and give you the items back from it. That's how I get my first piece of netherite, which then I used to make a netherite backpack. I opened up the 2 loot bags, nothing worth mentioning. Then I started salvaging other things. I've had steel armor and crystal tools, getting my first crystal obsidian. I then had to head back to the sky village and waste them back over to the vending machines. They had nothing, so I slept. Day 40, I woke up and immediately went over to the vending machines. It had something incredible. They were selling crystal obsidian pickaxes, so I bought 8 of them, and the second vending machine had chips. So I bought those. Afterwards, I immediately salvaged them and got back all the resources. I used the first one to make the anti-gravity charm, which allows you to walk on air. The charm is like flight, but better in my opinion. I then wanted to focus on some villager trades, because I needed emeralds for vending machines. So I made these boxes called traders, which you put these villagers in with their station. It's like its own little pocket dimension. More on that later. Since this was a new recording day, I decided to use the RTP before doing so. I made up some waystones, so I could save locations easier. When I randomly teleported, I was brought to a beach. It was raining and the sun was starting to set, so I decided to pop a waystone down, head back home, and go to bed. Day 41, it's a new day and it's vending machine time, so I teleported over and had this rare item, the Peacock Feather Fan, a Twilight Forest item costing 32 emeralds. I went to go and check the other and it had a full block of Ignitium, which you can only get by killing a boss in the nether, costing 64 emeralds. So I instantly went and started grinding out 64 emeralds. Do you remember the Sky Islands from like day 10? I wasted over with my new Fortune 5 pickaxe, mined up the emeralds underneath the islands. Once I felt like I had enough, I teleported back over and bought it instantly. You were only allowed to buy one because of how powerful it was, and what you can make with these things very late game is a really nice sword and a shield. More on this comes later. I went back over to the other vending machine and I really wanted that weird feather fan. So I went back over to the islands, mined more emeralds. Then I started testing out what it did. Oh, so it basically just throws you in the air. Okay. Teleported back to the beach, and today I truly wanted to find a place to live because it's day 41 and I've been living in a dungeon starter room. So I saw these weird dino things on the beach and took off heading south. I walked right past a meteor and saw a boat in the water. I swam over to it. Only thing worth mentioning was a pick with treasure on it. No idea what adds that enchant. Then I took a look around, looked at my map, saw nothing really interesting, and decided I'm gonna go south for a change. I went south for a little bit, looting this kitchen for food, and then the sun started to set. I was just looking at my map to see if there was anything interesting. There wasn't. I ended up wandering aimlessly, so I stumbled upon this stable area, and then I looked in the sky and saw this floating island with amethyst underneath. I flew up instantly, went up to the islands, saw a chest. One was a buried treasure loot chest. The other was a nether portal ruins chest that had a uncommon bow with Unbreaking 3, Power 4, and Infinity. I dragged all into my backpack, not realizing I didn't have my charm, and I plummeted into the water. This happens a lot. I fly back up and started mining the amethyst buds with my Fortune 5 pickaxe. Doing so got me some quests for a magic mod. I get a loot bag, open it, then teleported home and went to bed. Day 42, the thing I got was the best thing I got all game. Jason's sword, 25 starting HP damage, 1000 durability. This was a game changer for me at this point. Back over to the vending machines, I went to check out today's deals. I bought some peanut butter and corn from the first, and from the second, I bought these creative element pipes. I had no clue what they did, I just saw creative and bought it. Went back over to the other vending machines, bought the steel pillars as well as 8 of the Crusader quivers. They increase your arrow damage by 50%. I then teleported back over to the island and started heading north this time. I stumbled upon what I would call my home island. I found a mushroom village, then went east to a normal looking village to see if there was more vending machines. There wasn't. I did see this cool floating castle that looked interesting in the water. I started heading northwest and found these tiny islands off the shore. I saw this floating dock in the water. I was intrigued, and I went over to see it. I walked inside, took a look in the chest, and walked back outside. I saw this weird floating thing in the distance, then turned around and headed back to the shore. Started heading northwest again, and I approached a troll bridge, and he and I had some words. I went across the bridge to the island that brought me to a big forest. Looking over southwest, I saw this really nice looking hill. And that was it. That's where I decided to plot down my starter house and call home for these next 58 days. I then plopped a waystone, teleported home, grabbed my house, teleported back, and placed it down. Took a step back and just took it all in. This was home. Sometimes these houses, the ladders don't spawn correctly. I grabbed them all, replaced them properly on both sides, stepped outside, and took a look at my scenery. I walked back in, headed down to the basement, and started looking around. I removed the barrels because I'm getting into refined storage, climbed the ladder to the bedroom, and went to bed. Day 43. The next few days I had a few things I wanted to do. First, I placed down a waystone in the basement. Then I went over to check the vending machines. The first had share stones. I bought 8 of those. Nothing in the other one. Teleported back home and started heading over to the mushroom village and spent all day and night looting, getting aquaculture quests. And gaining another heart as it became nighttime. Once I completely looted everything, I went to bed in one of their houses. Day 44. It's a new day and I had just cleared this whole place. I flew back home, wasted over the vending machine to see what they had. First one had this tiny crate. It sounded cool, but it wasn't. The other, I bought a spawn egg and killed it. Walked away. Today was, I wrote, a waste of a day. Whatever happened, well, you're watching it. Then I went to bed. Day 45. Today I had one goal in mind, to go to the Nether.
Sulfur in the air, sharp scent of burnt rock and flesh. This place is a hell indeed.
And start looting things over there. With my step height at 3 blocks, my jump at 5, the ability to fly, exploring the Nether was easy and fun.
My heart, dude. Holy.
As I was exploring the Nether, I spotted this purple boss through the wall. I dug up to it and challenged it. I continued exploring and one punched this ghast. Very satisfying. Flying around the Nether, I spotted this jungle temple made of crimson. I headed over to it and started mining into it. I went into the first hidden room, broke the spawner. The first chest had some netherite scrap in it.
Loot bag piece. Ooh, I got another speed. I think you can go faster. Let's see. Yep. Speed 4 now. Beheading 3. Oh, finally! Now I'll have fire protection. Another beheading 3. I'm mending. I lose a little armor, but at least now I don't catch fire.
I'm still in the Nether as the sun was rising. I just got done looting the temple, continued flying around, and I ran into a witch altar thing. with wither skulls on iron bars. I killed the witches, grabbed the skull, and continued
I knew where
exploring.
you were, I would shoot it back at you. Oh, one of these buildings is very rare.
Day 46, I had just found the really OP towers in the nether. I liked the way the bricks looked, so I decided to take them with me.
2 netherite ingots. 2, oh my, look at all this loot! Always want to loot any of these buildings you find. They go crazy. They're really uncommon too, so the fact that I ran into one is amazing.
Beneath the citadel was a weird outpost.
Another ancient city map?
Little did I know this would be a long journey.
No way, there's another one right there, dude. That is insane. Oh yeah, another piece of ancient debris, 8 blocks of iron, god apple, diamond pants, potion of fire resistance, time 2. Diamond quartz.
Realizing the sun was going down, I haven't checked the vending machines, I teleported home, which earned me another quest.
I'm glad they take some of those. Experience gems is really good. Gold to diamond chest upgrades.
Then went to bed. Day 47, I woke up and went outside to check today's deals. Dragonstone ore. Sounded interesting. I bought 8 of those. And the other was some new food that I've never eaten before. I then teleported back to the nether. Flying around, I found a bastion and another jungle temple. This time made of warped wood. Decided to ultimate my way in, then loot the chest.
Knockback resistance. Oh, I don't have that. Okay. Keep it. Oh, purple! Ooh, another purple.
What are those noises they're making? The third chest had TNT under it. I grabbed everything, got out of there, went to go check the bastion. While looting the bastion, I dragged all into my backpack and plummeted onto the bastion.
Yeah. And that's a quest. That is also a quest. So easy, I could just walk up and be like, oh, okay, I don't see any chests, see you later. And then I can just come in and be like, oh, hi, there's a chest there, I shall be taking it. What am I talking about, bro? Move on.
Continue flying around, I saw another bastion with chests just sticking out.
Ooh, more ancient debris, that's always good. 2 more ancient debris pieces, that's good. Oh, I found something better. The abandoned ship. Well, not really abandoned, the ender ship, more like, and the loot here goes crazy. Alright. Nope, I don't care about another fortress map. I'm already dealing with one map, I already know another one. Charm of seeking to where it can be freely through water. Very cool.
I come across another warped jungle temple, head inside and began looting it.
Oh my god, more netherite scrap! Yes, sir!
I finally decided to ultimine some of the warp stem for sticks for a Fletcher that I'll be setting up soon. I found one of the citadels, not as uncommon as I remember, as the sun starts to rise. Day 48, after completely looting it.
Oh, another netherite ingot! Oh my god, another netherite ingot. And some ancient. It's so good.
Decided to look at today's vending machine deals. First one had crescent fruit. Bought one of those, and the second one had nothing of interest to me. I teleported back home and made another charm because I still haven't gotten close to a location on the map. Before heading back, I opened up 5 loot bags. Nothing worth mentioning. Afterwards, the sun was setting, so I headed to bed. Day 49, I woke up and immediately headed over to the vending machines. Today was the day I bought 8 awakened supreme furnaces, which could cook pretty much instantly. For only 8 emeralds, this was the best deal I got all game. I also impulsively bought a Magmatar Nitro, which generates power using lava. Fortunately, never really did this. I also bought some Brain Coral, which I used to make Harley Quinn's Ring of Luck, which boosted my loot pool way up from now on. After doing that, I teleported back to the Nether and continued following the map, looting anything I found interesting on the way.
What happens when they don't walk into me? God. What are you doing in the Nether? Yeah, buckle lava pours out. Oh, so funny. That has reforming, that has looting, and that's purple.
Flying northwest, I found another bastion and looted the one chest in the middle. After looting the bastion, I continued flying north and ran into another citadel. Here's a good way to test out the Ring of Luck. While entering the citadel, I had another one of those scared debuffed moments.
Oh, the ring. The ring. Okay, you see the ring is on, right? See that? Look at all that. Dominator's Eye, that's actually a quest. I see another one. Bring on, here we go. Woohoo!
Day 50, if you made it this far, comment down below what's your favorite color. Also, if you would like to see a 200 days in this pack, smash that like button. Let's get 100 likes for 200 days. Okay, I'm done. Back to the video. Officially halfway through this thing, and I'm still in the Nether, following this map until I realized what day it was. I teleported back home. I have no emeralds left. Today I decided to change that and get into villager trades. First thing I wanted to get is some fletchers. I grabbed some out, grabbed some fletching tables, put them in the box with the villager. So I'm going through all the logs I've been collecting in the dungeons, converting them to sticks, and turning all those sticks into emeralds that I could use to buy stuff for the vending machines. Today I had no deals. I'll play back home to do some trading, just in case I got a really good deal. And I decided to start getting into refined storage.
I'll start with quartz iron. That's pretty instantaneous.
But getting into it, I realized I need silicon, which you get from smelting quartz. So I decided to head back to the Nether to get some more resources.
A lot of this stuff.
While gathering quartz in the Nether, I came across the giant wither statue, which I remember has some crazy loot in it. I break into the eyes and start looting it. They had these portals that were made of ancient debris. Unfortunately, when I mined it, for some reason it was turning it into the raw debris from the Mitre Mart I added. It turns out it's affected by fortune though, so it comes in handy later on. But sometimes it would mine as normal ancient debris. I'm still unclear what caused this. Day 51, I was still in the Nether, talking to the Nether Goblin, continued looting the entire place.
Why do they keep doing that? Not what I want.
After looting all the chests and gathering all the ancient debris, I continued heading north.
Oh, we're getting
Realizing
closer.
it's a new day, I teleported back home and checked out today's deals. First one had a Ring of Slow Falling I bought to complete a quest. The second ended up having Imperium Paxels, 1 emerald per. I bought 8 of them, thinking you could salvage it. Unfortunately, you couldn't, but having 8 was nice later on. After buying them, I teleported back to the Nether and ran into the Nether Pillar. Inside the chest was a spell book.
Summoned 2 rideable dolphins for a short period of time. That's kind of cool. And this is the last speed I need. I now have max speed.
I realized that I just needed to head north, and I started digging a hole. Going north, I flew out and still continued going north.
Fastest quest, I know that.
Just went all day and into the night. After flying a while, I came across this boss arena, the blacksmith of the soul. Today was the day I take on the nether monstrosity.
Those are 500 health. That's not too bad. He's gonna go into its final mode here in a second. Oh, no final mode? Okay. Look at him. Dead. And you got this monster's horn? I'll just show it off. Yeah. Well, I was not expecting to find this, but you know, it's a W find. And there is a secret. If you press this button right here, it opens the doorway to some ancient debris. Got one here. And the last one's right here.
52, I had just defeated the nether monstrosity and placed the share stone down, not realizing this is the last time you will see this. I teleported back home, checked the vending machine deals of the day. First one had nothing, but the second had these place cards, and it looked cool, so I bought 8 of those. Then I bought 8 elite infusing factories, which you see getting used later on. Remember when I said this was going to be a long journey? Well, we're almost at the end of it.
Ooh.
Today, we are reaching what lies at the end of this map. Finally start to see myself on the map, I ended up following it all the way to its source. Come to find out, it was an actual nether ancient city, like the ones you find in the Deep Dark. I decided to bluestone it, save it for later. I don't think I actually ever come back to this location either, but finding that boss was worth the journey. My interest right now was getting into refined storage.
What are they doing with it tonight? Let's just do 8. And then 4. Picked up. That kind of part. Destruction core. Construction core. Here we go, disk drive. Yep, grid. The grid. And there you go.
Day 53, I had just crafted all the necessary components for refined storage. Then I went over and checked out the vending machine deals. I only bought this half a dragon egg from the first machine. I teleported home. Today, I was gonna get at least into the 64K drive.
Oh, baby. Oh, that's perfect. Into 3 of these. This into that, so I can get the quest. There you go. That's a 64K. I can't get the 256. We'll get to that eventually, but should be plenty.
After crafting up all the discs, I opened up my loot bags from the quest rewards and ended up getting a crystal heart, which increased your maximum overall HP. This was another huge find. Afterwards, I went to sleep for the night. Day 54, I finally made all those discs. I'm gonna be setting up the entire system here soon. First, to go check the vending machine deals. I bought 8 blocks of steel. Now, the second vending machine, it has solar panels V4. This was huge. Now I can power my machine. Basically, just from the power of the sun. I also ended up buying this occultism thing. I never got into it. After buying that, I teleported back home, made some energy cables, set up my solar panels. I ended up placing them right on top of my chimney, so it would look natural, and the cables would go down in the middle of it and connect to the controller. This worked beautifully. I then teleported back home, grabbed all the stuff, and started setting up the refined storage. Think about it like a computer. We have a central monitor, a storage, and a power supply, and all your items get stored on the disks. Very good way of keeping everything in one place. And now it's time for an inventory moving montage. Day 55. Before I continue moving everything over, it's a new day and I have vending machines to check. It had something amazing. It had full Imperium dust blocks. I could buy 8 of them. That's right. That right there gave me a huge start into mystical agriculture, which we get into towards the end.
Thing over, then I have about 15,407 items.
I ended up opening a loot bag and going to
I'm
bed.
going to sleep.
Day 56, I started setting up my villagers at my new house with my storage. And I was feeling like a rich man. When I went to check the deals, I saw a tall iron space door. Bought it, as well as dragon fruit, as well as 8 of those jungle logs from the abyss mod and the chest plate. The second vending machine ended up having chorus fruit. I took the opportunity and bought 8 of those. I then teleported home and set up my new space door.
There we go. I'm gonna eat dragon fruit. Hey, let's go! Got our next hire.
I decided to surround the space door with andesite casing to give it a better look. Afterwards, I went to go set up more solar panels I forgot I had.
Yeah, just do this, and then connect them, right?
For more power input, because why not?
Well,
Since
power.
we're getting further into this pack, I want to dive into some more quests today. I decided to first dive into mechanism. To do that, I need some osmium. I went down my mine shaft that comes with every house to find that I'm over a gigantic lava pool. I could have used it for power, but my power input was already pretty ridiculous. I then mined out and went looking for some osmium. While looking for osmium, I found a spawner with some nice loot in it. Continued exploring cave until I found a mimic that dropped me a leprechaun tap that gives you 1 extra level of looting. I equipped it and continued my search. Still not finding any osmium, surprisingly, but I did come across another mimic that dropped me a plastic drinking hat, which makes it quick to consume consumables. Continuing the search for osmium, I ran into another mimic. This one dropped a scarf of invisibility that made the user invisible. After searching a long time, I finally found osmium. I also picked up some tin as well. Searching for more, I found this weird water ruined thing with a piece of sponge. I grabbed the sponge and found another mimic that dropped these boots that allowed you to walk on water. Realizing it was nighttime, my pockets were full, I
I'm gonna live
teleported
in
back
this
home
cave, so it
as
doesn't
the
matter.
sun rises on day 57. Day 57. Today I want to get into the mechanism, complete some quests. But first, it's a new day again, and I got vending machines on the mines. I teleported over to see today's deals. The first had a blazerite shield. I bought that, as well as the second had just magnet upgrade and an unstable sword. I teleport back home, continue working on the mechanism quests. I actually had quite a few things already. After making this steel casing, I pulled out everything mechanism related and got the quests.
So that unlocks that. Now if we go to mechanism, we can grab that. And we can make this thing. The first step into this mod. Which gives you another basic control circuit, which basically makes it so I can make this for free. Alright, let's do some thermal stuff now. This thing. And this thing. We go to add thermal. We can take this and get that, right? Yeah, we can take this and get that. This and this and this. And maybe this too. And 4 more loot bags. I just got something. Okay. Sleep time.
Day 58. I found out all I have to do is slash back and it takes me right back to the vending machines. I ended up buying a thermal item, which is a quest later on, as well as I bought 8 Gaia Spirit Seeds, which turned out was useless until I had the proper tiered farmland. Second vending machine also had a thermal item. I ended up grabbing one of those as well, then teleported back home, realizing I haven't made the machine frame for thermal. I went and did that, and I claimed all the quests that I had that needed it, then opened up the loot bags from the quest rewards. Nothing worth mentioning. After doing that, I decided to make that base template. That way I could get the rewards from the one I bought. Then I decided to get into all the other storages from sophisticated storage. Just to get more loot bags. And the only thing I got worth noting was the Ring of Regeneration, a legendary ring that gives you a regeneration effect permanently. I was starting to feel like an overpowered beast.
Another loot bag. Ring of Wither Resistance. Woohoo! Oh, Universal Attractor.
At this point, as the sun set, I started to get into apotheosis. I started by crushing down some gems with an anvil to get gem dust. You need gem dust to make the salvager. Then I went to sleep. Day 59, I got up and immediately crafted the salvaging table. That way I could get loads of gem dust and affixes.
Put it right here. Put all of them in here and you crush it. And it gives you more dust.
After making that, I made the reforging table that allows you to reforge your items into affixed items.
And see that that's right here, that's purple. I need to break that. All the up, see that's purple. Gotta break the up, another purple. And you do all that and the salvaging table.
I then affixed my adjacent sword, which now had the affix of having a 4% chance that when killing mobs, they could explode into loot pinata, which gives you a lot more than normal of certain items. A very useful thing you'll see later on. After that, I decided to reforge my chest plate. What I got on it was crazy. 20.25 armor, negative 26 total entity gravity, a 5 armor toughness, plus 3.25 more luck, and plus 9.5 max health.
Put the salvager in the salvager.
Next, I decided to reforge a crystal pickaxe, which now had the ability to mine in a 3x3. Then some better leggings. I ended up going with refined obsidian because of the starting armor and their durability. These ended up getting 17 armor, 5 armor toughness, 4.4 knockback resistance, and a +8 max health. I was becoming even more powerful than I was before. So I over the vending machines to find a donut in the second vending machine. After doing that, my chest plate and my pants, I decided to do my helmet. Even though it was from a Lucky Block mod, I got some crazy stats on it. After doing that, I slept for the night. Day 60. First thing I had to do was slash back to the vending machine, which offered me end shells. I bought 8 of those and checked the other one, which had this pet food, which I haven't eaten and can only be consumed using the auto eat upgrade. I then teleported back home and crafted up 2 different types of enchanting tables. The disenchanting table, the infusing, then the advanced.
And a spreader.
I then started setting up my end shells and placed down my advanced one, which allows you to choose certain enchants based on your overall arcana, which is based on the type of shelves and items around it. First thing I wanted to do was add max sharpness to my new Jason sword, which made it now do 35 damage. This thing was a beast. I then wanted to up it even more, so I grabbed the smithing table and some gems and socketed on there a gem that adds +2 existing sharpness. So now, it does 36 damage. Holy, this sword is insane. After claiming the quest rewards, I realized I never reforged my boots, so I reforged them, got them up to 12 armor, and +6 overall HP. My hearts are now dark green. Then I just remembered, I can make something that will repair my gear using RF, and I have pretty much unlimited power. I crafted it up and hooked it in. Started repairing all my items and gear. This felt very good to finally do. As the sun set, before going to bed, I decided to enchant my chest plate, leggings, and helmet, all with max protection. I was fully enchanted and fixed. Now, after finishing that, I slept for the night. Day 61, I started off the day eating this squid meal and trading with my Fletchers to get some more emeralds and teleport over the vending machines to check out them deals. The second vending machine had a thermal quest and another occultism thing, and the first one I had nothing. I teleported home, and today I wanted to set up the disenchanting table. But it took me a while to figure out how to actually get liquid experience. The way I did it was I crafted up a obelisk, then I stored some of my levels into it, set up pipes to extract it, and then once getting it power, it worked flawlessly. I was not able to disenchant everything moving forward. I then slept for the night. Day 62, it's a new day and I have vending machines to go check. First I had some fish, and the other a wooden industrial door, which I replaced my main door at the base with. It looks solid. Next thing I wanted to do was some disenchanting. I started with everything that had mending on it.
Guys, I'm breaking 3 and mending. Next we got persistence, silk touch, and mending.
Then I actually made one of those Imperium Paxils into a Silk Touch Paxil with mending on it. Next I put mending on my sword, then I remembered this enchant that increases your overall maximum HP even more. I ended up grabbing some horse armor and a chest plate which had it, and I disenchanted both. Combined the books together to get Vigor 4. Put them on my chest plate and put it on. Just sat there and looked at my hearts go up and up and up. Afterwards I wanted to start on using that Ignitium I got a while ago. After finding it, I headed up to bed. Day 63, I woke up and heard the sound of a wandering villager outside my house. I then teleported over to the vending machines to see what they had for me today. Unfortunately, there was nothing worth my time. I decided to teleport back home and started working on using the Ignitium. You needed a netherite sword, some blaze rods. Easy stuff. I ended up making the very cool looking sword, the Incinerator, which is unbreakable and never really gets used in this pack, unfortunately. I then upgraded my boots to netherite boots, and then realized that I can repair my charm. This was huge. Now I can fly as much as I wanted, come back and repair it anytime. I then decided to give myself a better shield. I took the Blazerite shield I bought from the vending machine and reforged it. Ended up getting 7.25 armor while holding it, as well as +8 overall max health. After making all this overpowered gear, I wanted to see how it would do against the boss. I decided to fight the Wither, and it kinda goes badly.
Alright, today we're fighting the Wither.
souls merge into a combination of such terrible form that it
How long it takes me to
defies
kill this thing?
the earth stained by the very presence of this foul creature.
Okay, well, it just burned the ground from under me. That's great.
I didn't activate the unstable bedrock, taking it into bedrock, and then flew back up to it, slaughtered it, getting more knowledge of death, and the first of many nether stars. After killing it, I climbed back up and slept. Day 64, vending machines only had some cooked fish and something called Mortimer. I bought 8 of those and teleported back home. I then realized I have yet to find the stronghold. Thankfully, there's an item that will lead you straight to it. I crafted up the explorer's compass and set out to find the stronghold.
And 2,600 blocks away, that's where I'm gonna find the strongholds. That's pretty much the plan, is to go and do that.
Before heading out, I wanted to upgrade my pickaxe with efficiency 10 to make it netherite. Then made the wireless transmitter as well as a wireless crafting grid. That way I could use my storage from anywhere. Also had a few upgrades and I was able to use it up to 32 blocks away, which is pretty good. I then went to bed, ready to head out on a long journey in the morning. Day 65, today was the day I was gonna find the stronghold. I grabbed my compass and started following it. It said it was 2,684 blocks away. Get ready for the traveling montage. Well, I headed right over there. I found this really cool, create place. Took a look at it and then moved on. I was now less than 1,000 blocks away. I continued following the compass. Once I got 387 blocks away, I spotted a village, which had 2 more vending machines. I now had 4 different ones to check every day. This ended up being huge later on. The first vending machine had cooked bass. I didn't realize that there was a second vending machine, but that one had a glyph. Once I got the location, I did the one thing you should never do in normal Minecraft. Dug straight down. And then I gained the achievement before even seeing it. I dug a little lower, dropped on in, but the sun was starting to set. I popped down a waystone and teleported back home and slept for the night. Day 66, on day kill all the Jedi. Today I wanted to upgrade my sword even more. If I was going to kill the Ender Dragon, I wanted looting and scavenger. Exactly what I did was grab the enchant books and enchanted a Jason sword with it. When I finally combined my 2 bows into one amazing bow, then teleported back to the stronghold to loot it. Nothing crazy here besides a few different quest items.
That is a relic that I don't have, but I do like that banner.
And some cool looking banners. I then
that.
teleported back again to see today's vending machine deals. There was nothing in the normal spot, but in the new one, I found that they were offering some Infernium gemstones, which was a really good way of starting mystical agriculture. More on that in the days to come. Then I ended up buying 8 Ametrine blocks. This was when I figured out there was 2 vending machines. The second one had another occultism quest and some fish stew in a cup. Bought those both. Then headed back to the stronghold. I ended up using my map to find my way to the portal room by digging into it from above. I then grabbed the waystone and placed it closer to the portal. The actual portal only had 3 eyes in it and had 4 on me, but that still wasn't enough. Then I decided to loot the chest to see if I could get Eyes of Ender in the loot chest. Unfortunately, only really found some decent books in the library and some more cool banners. Loot here was kind of not anything I needed at this point, and I didn't loot the entire thing either. This went on the whole night and into the morning of day 67. Day 67. Today I had one goal. I was going to the end and killing the dragon. First, I had to check the vending machines for the day. The first one ended up having the 64k parts. I bought 8 of those and 8 copper casings. Kind of impulse buy, but you could say that about a lot of the stuff I bought. Second vending machine had this block called dev.energygen. Sounded interesting. I bought 8 of those, then teleported over to the other 2 vending machines. The first one had a thermal item, which wasn't a quest, and the second one had a Alp steel shovels. Thinking you could salvage them, I bought 8 of them, but sadly you could not. I then teleported back home and made 256 storage discs. increasing my storage exponentially. After that, I made the last of the eyes and teleported back to the stronghold, put the eyes in the portal.
The doorstep of the end. Single step now separates you from it.
Then jumped on in.
Stuff. I'll be alright.
Tortured rocks fail as bones, hanged up above infinite, all-consuming blackness. The end is almost like a fever dream.
I spawned into the end, quickly leaped off the obsidian platform and started killing mobs. You see the first instance of Loot Pinata, then the fight ensued.
Creature is bound to God-forsaken unwitness. Lay her to the deserved rest.
I end up killing her,
One shot.
using only my bow this time at least. More on that later.
With dragon's imminent demise, this place seems even more empty and purposeless than before. While we wander those fractured, deserted lands, or return to the facade of sanity and liveliness the overworld provides. Of course, the ghosts know the answer. You cannot resist exploring the unknown. It's now or later.
After killing a dragon, I gathered up the egg and headed towards the gateway. I ended up getting my first piece of mythic gear from a mob I actually killed. Not entirely sure where it came from, just kind of appeared in my inventory. I then went into the gateway and teleported back home to sleep for the night. 868, I woke up and grabbed the waystones, as well as got some emeralds. I headed over to the second vending machine location. First one had industrial foregrowing thing and some food, and the second had this crystallic sword that looked cool, as well as the magic map from Twilight Forest, which ended up being a quest. And teleported over to the other location. The first one had the Imperium shovel. Only bought one this time, and 8 of these things that allows you to vanish. That just got stored away in the computer, as well as this salmon food. The second vending machine had this mead that I bought and also never used. Definitely seeing a pattern here. I then teleported back to the end and started exploring to see what I could find. I ended up finding these ender triplets that gave me like 5.5 stacks of eyes of ender. This sword is insane. I started flying north and spotted a weird structure in the distance and a floating tree over the void that had shulkers spawning. I went over to the tree, slaughtered all the shulkers, then went to investigate. The structure, which also had a lot of shulkers.
Oh, there's a lot of these guys. Lots of these guys.
And this weird altar thing. Now I knew what the gem of Ender was used for, when all of a sudden I saw a mythic boss spawn in. I dropped everything, flew over to it, and ended its existence. After murdering it, I then plopped a waystone down and teleported back home to grab my gem of Ender to see what would happen when I right-clicked it into the altar. When I right-clicked it into the altar, it summoned the End Stone Sentinel, the End Protector, and our battle ensued. Quick and easy battle at that. After killing it, I started flying around, noticed another mythic boss spawned in, ending its existence as well. Except it kinda ended itself by jumping into the void. I then continued exploring, found some cool trees, gathered them up. After doing so, I realized I had my compass with me. I typed in End City. There's only one 750 blocks away. I then started heading that way, looting any random thing I ended up seeing on my way there. I spotted this floating building and yet again dragged all into my backpack and almost plummeted to my death in the void. Then I finally just put it in my hotbar That way, it would stop happening. Day 68, and I'm just now figuring this one out.
Oh, netherite, dude.
I then came across this weird structure. I ended up remembering it was nothing useful, but next to it was a ruined end structure that ended up having a dragon egg in it. I grabbed it up and continued heading towards the end city. As the city came in random distance, I saw it ended up having a ship, and this was huge. And began to loot first the city.
Ooh, those are nice pants.
And the ship.
Thank you very much. Oh, another one of those. That is a quest. And the chorus inhibitor. And my elytra.
At this point, the sun was rising in the overworld. Day 69, day funny number! It's a new day, I'm still exploring the end. I see this weird thing in the floor, and as I break it, a whole structure ends up spawning in.
Stuff. That's an orange, that's netherite.
I loot the entire thing, continue looking around. I end up finding a wrecked end ship with some quest items.
Jump boost ring.
As well as a useless portal. I then finally stopped and teleported home. Empty my backpack. Time for an inventory dumping montage. Then I teleported over to the vending machines. The first had nothing, and the second had some cooked food I haven't eaten yet. I then teleported to the second location. The first one had bold castle bricks, about 8 of those, and the second one had a create jetpack. I instantly bought that and used it to travel around the end without having to use my charm. I then teleported back to the end and started floating around the end using my new jetpack. While exploring, I ran into another mythic boss. This one was really strong and kept electrocuting me. I ended up killing it. I then found another end city. I looted the city and found out there was a ship as well. The luck was going crazy. I head over to the ship, looting all of its goods, taking the dragon head, and then opened my map, saw what looked like an end ancient city. I flew to that direction, started looting it.
That's intriguing. You get the first time we got on bookshelves. First one, a drag. Ooh, another right axe. There's an end gateway over here. Cool. Obliteration, fortune 3.
On day 70.
Day 70, I'm still in the end looting this ancient city, and the
Nice.
loot here is super good.
If it's in anything, it gives you +2 levels to all existing enchants.
After looting the entire thing, I decided to teleport back home. It's a new day and I wanted to see what the vending machines had to offer me today. The first one had a spawn egg, and the second ended up having some strength augments that I never get used, but I ended up buying 8 of them. Then teleport over to the second and bought a staff that was very hard to make, but never was used. And the second one had some food I'd never eaten, and some stack upgrades tier 4. I bought 8 of those. Then teleported back home and started unloading all my loot into the computer. Claiming my quest and opening loot bags as well. Then I decided before the 100 days was over, I wanted to make at least one of the creative items. I ended up going with the easiest one, but it was not easy in any way, shape, or form, and I ended up spending the majority of these last 30 days doing this.
Day 71, I loaded up into a new day, teleported over to the vending machines.
First one had an industrial foregoing item and big laboratory doors. The second one had this train door that looked interesting. I teleported over to the next area. Neither of them had anything that I wanted, so I decided to teleport back home. I ended up emptying my dank, then making it into a dank 5 and a dank 6. And then started diving into some different quests. Since we are nearing the end of this pack, I ended up making a scanner. I then opened up 3 loot bags and ended up getting the Ring of Luck. Realizing I could repair my Ring of Luck, I took it out, started repairing it, and put both of them in my ring slots. The loot tables are gonna be crazy now. After opening up all the loot bags, I headed to bed.
Day 72, it's a new day. You know what the first thing I'm doing is? I headed over to the first area. First one had nothing I wanted, and the second, an emerald generator. The second area of the second vending machine ended up having an awakened axe. Realizing I might need 2, I bought 2 of them, then I teleported back home, and today I want to continue to grind for quests. Hey, I was gonna get into the Iron Furnace mod. I go through all the tiers, and this went on the entire day. Then I went to bed and get ready for the next day. Day 73. On this day, I woke up and opened up all my loot bags. Nothing good to note here besides a few quest items and a range upgrade, which I used to increase the distance of my wireless transmitter to 40 blocks now. I then crafted up all my loot pieces I gathered and crafted them into bundles. I opened them all, nothing worth noting besides one quest item, and I realized I was running low on sticks. In that moment, I decided to set up some hunting villagers to trade all my bones, spider eyes, and gunpowder too. After that, I headed over to the vending machine to see the deals for today. The first one had a thermal quest item and a red liquor quest item. And the second ended up having a witherite block. That was the last thing I needed from the Cataclysm mod. Outside of emeralds at this point though. I teleported back home, continued trading with the hunters. Once I ran out of bones and gunpowder, I grabbed out my cleric and started trading him all my rotten flesh and a stack of gold. I opened up the loot bags and I ended up getting this ring of flight. But you need somnium to power it. You remember that thing I ate in the first dungeon? That's what powers it, but a lot of it. I ended up teleporting back over to the vending machine, buying the block, realizing it makes this anvil used to transfuse the items you get from the bosses into new ones. In that moment, I realized I had to go find the Citadel in the end. Before doing that, I checked the other vending location to see what they offered. It had nothing worthwhile. I teleported back home and went to bed. Day 73. Wait, we just did day 73. That's right. On this day, the entire world crashes. I have to use a backup one, so we have 2 day 73s. Enjoy day 73 in the backup world. I wake up to this achievement. Home is where the bed is, which you get for sleeping in the same bed 3 times in a row, which was interesting. I teleported back over to the second vending machine location. The only one that had something interesting was the second one. It had an echo ring and some new food. Bought those and teleported over to the other vending machines, which had nothing that day. Teleported back home before heading back into the end. I started making a netherite shulker box, going through each tier individually. And teleported to the end, typed in Citadel, and it was only 900 blocks away. Then started heading that direction, flying over with my jetpack that was almost out of air and my charm as well. I ended up reaching the Citadel. As soon as I got to the Citadel, I started looting all of it. Killing the ender golems there weren't very strong, but there were loads of them for some reason. I explored the whole thing, floor by floor, until I got to the boss room, and the epic battle commenced. After killing him, looting his stadium, I teleported back home, emptied out my backpack, and teleported over to the vending machine. Since it was still sunrise, the deals didn't reset yet, I found the nearest bed in the village and went to bed. Day 74, it's a brand new day. I headed over to the vending machine. I ended up buying the ethereal circlet. Gave you immune damage to elytra and suffocation from the first, another thermal quest item at the second.
I then teleported over to the other area. The first one had a prismatic cobweb used to remove any curses off an item, and the second one ended up having heart canisters, which I couldn't use because of how much food I've been eating. That was a waste. I teleported back home, and today I was gonna make those infused weapons from Cataclysm. First I started by making the infused anvil, then the bulwark shield, then the helmet, using a netherite helmet and the horn, and then the chestplate of Ignitium, combining a netherite chestplate and a piece of Ignitium. I then placed down the anvil on the other side of the enchanting area. I then infused the chestplate and the elytra, which both now became unbreakable. After infusing those together, I wanted to make the nether hammer into its better version. Take the hammer and one of those void cores. It makes this cool looking hammer. Then I infused the watcher's gauntlet and the shield to make this gauntlet of bulwark. I reforged the hammer to dig in a 5x5 area. This is also completely unbreakable. And the gauntlet. Afterward, I even reforged the Awakened Supremium Axe. Look at the stats on this thing. Now, after doing that, I started reforging my gear to mythic affixes. The boots got way better. After doing that, I started to reforge my sword, but I didn't have enough mythic pearls. I decided that is a tomorrow's problem and headed to bed.
Day 75! We're only 25 days away from completing this challenge! I've enjoyed this so much.
Anyways, I teleported to the second vending machine area. First one had an advanced compressor and some chocolate ice cream, and something called a dimensional chest. I piqued my interest and I decided to buy it. I then teleported back home, then went and started salvaging these netherite boots. After doing that, I then decided to reforge my helmet, and that has 32 armor. I think I went a little overboard with the affixes. I then just decided to plop the monstrous horn helmet on an armor stand to show off. I then reforged the Jason sword, which now had a 5% chance of loot pinata instead of 4%. This was huge. Now I had a higher chance of getting it, as well as it now ignores 53% of durability damage. Afterwards, I then wanted to see what this dimensional storage was. I broke the archwood chest and placed it down. Really wasn't anything special, unless I was completely missing something. If you know what, leave a comment telling me its uses. After putting my important loot in there, I decided to empty out my backpack from the earlier adventure. And today I was going to do more quests. I wanted to complete all of the gadgets tab. After gaining a heart, I continued grinding out each quest individually. About halfway through, I needed more emeralds. To train the cleric my flesh, I realized a mod I'd forgotten about called Easy Villagers, where you can give the villagers these emerald shards and it will restock all their traits. After doing each quest, I sat there completing the entire Gadget's quest line and hit the completionist to get 5 loot bags. And by now, it was time to head off to bed.
Day 76, I woke up feeling good. I had just completed a whole quest line.
I had plenty of loot bags to open. Started my morning by eating some chocolate ice cream. I headed over to the vending machines. The second location had nothing. The first, however, had another occultism thing. I bought one of those, and then I saw this creative wireless grid, which allowed me to see all my stuff and take from it, but not able to craft. I still bought it, but it wasn't that useful. The second vending machine had another occultism ritual. I think next time I'm gonna dive more into different mods. Then I bought 8 purple lanterns as an impulse buy. I'm also gonna decorate my house more. I didn't get much time to do that this 100 days. I teleported home, capped up all my loot bundles, and had 20 of them to open. Started opening a few different things I got. Was Tunium Axe, a Soul Elytra. Would be good if I didn't have a better means of flight. A Ring of Firework, which didn't even work with an Elytra. I still had no idea what it did. Maybe it needed Somnium. The next set of loot bags had a Hunter's Belt, a Flux Boar, and a Power Glove. Only things worth noting here. I then remembered you could salvage a Neptunium, and I started making everything else that I required to get more loot bags. After doing that, I made the rest of the Neptunium into a block to symbolize the completion of that. At this point, I had 14 loot bags and started opening some little at a time. Nothing in the first batch. The second, however, gave me quite a few different things. A lava lily pad, this cool Enderman head that opened when you looked at it, as well as a bound script of Amethyst Golem, which unlocked it as a familiar. Never used it, but at this point, it was time to sleep for the night.
Day 77, I woke up and immediately teleported over to the vending machines.
But I was out of emeralds. I teleported back home, traded with my hunter. After trading with a hunter, I teleported back over to the second machine. I had a troll spawn egg and this pretty looking block and a mechanism quest. I never completed. Bought some food I'd never eaten before from the first one. The second area had a crystalline component used to craft the advanced crafting tables for the creative items. By taking a second look at it, it was only used to create the auto crafting versions, as well as some new food. Second vending machine had wither skeleton lanterns. I bought 8 of them and actually set them up on the top floor, replacing them with the normal lanterns in my house. I really loved the way they looked. After doing that, I spawned the troll, one-shot him, and it dropped magic beans, which I had no idea what they actually did. Something to do with twilight boars. I tried to plant them on grass, no luck, but never tried on farmland. After that, I headed back upstairs. Today I was gonna get a spell book. I could only get to the second version of it, but still good. Then I remember you could do the same thing with Neptunium for Ethereum. I smelted down all the raw ore and I started completing other quests from that mod. As many quests as I could do because we were reaching the end and I wanted to do as many quests as I could. I ended up making the Ender Chest Ring and the Amulet, which gave me even less gravity. I was going to be bouncing around like I was on the moon. I claimed the quest and opened up the loot bags, and I made the Emblem of the Monster Slayer. Pretty expensive but worth. This item gives you even more looting. This was super helpful when I needed mob drops and more damage against the undead. As well, started making the armor, salvaging it, then making the next piece. Until I had made a full set and claimed a whole block of Ethereum along with 2 loot bags. In the loot bags, I ended up getting 2 more quest items, and in those 2 loot bags, I got nothing worth mentioning. At this point, the sun was setting, and I slept for the night.
Day 78,
Today was the day I ended up buying, I'd say, one of the most powerful items the vending machine was offering, the unlimited storage disk. I immediately bought it, and now my storage was infinite. This was huge. I could store anything and everything inside this network. Now the second vending machine had blueberries and cooked venison. I took over the first area. First one had a glyph, which I thought was a quest but wasn't, and second one had nothing I wanted. I teleported home, placed my disk in, and watched my storage just say 0, meaning it would never be full. After that, I entered my inventory and wanted to start killing things. I started with all the creeper eggs because I was low on gunpowder. I ran around, spam placing them, and killing them. The last one started into Loot Pinata. I got so much gunpowder that I spawned in this thing called the Fractalite. I one-shot it, but then dropped some ice shards. Yet again, another creeper exploded into Loot Pinata. I hopped my way back home and set up the train door I bought a while back. And the sliding animation was so clean that it became my new door to the outside. Then I decided to finally dye my setup purple, my favorite color. Then I decided to dive into more quests. Today was solar panels. I got to tier 3, then stopped. Opened up the loot bags, then I decided to finally dive into the creative item. First thing I needed was Obsidian Essence. And the easiest way to do that is to make a sword, enchant it with Loot Pinata, as well as Mystical Enlightenment. Whatever tier sword you have, it will drop that essence. I realized I couldn't just start with Imperium without actually getting into all the stages. I started from the beginning. I already had those Imperium gemstones, so I just made the prosperity ones. Claimed the quest, but I was very low on prosperity. But the sun was setting. I decided to sleep for the night, then go mining for prosperity in the morning.
Day 79,
I woke up and crafted up 2 stacks of those unstable bedrock, so I would have enough this time. I got out the Wither Skulls, Soul Sand, and Wither Charm that got all the gunpowder I gotten and traded it in. Then I teleported over the first vending machine area. bought this thermal quest item and some orange juice. The second vending machine ended up having an Awakened Supremium Sickle that does 30 damage. I never really used it, but it was only 1 emerald. I teleported over to the second area, which had nothing. Then teleported back home, I headed down to the mine and started building the Wither Killing Box. While building it, I ran out and I grabbed my spell book, learned the spell Projectile Break, and used that to gather up all the other ones I had placed down. Continued building the box and breaking all the others I had placed. Once I finished it, I then right-clicked the box with a redstone torch and it didn't convert the ceiling, but it still worked perfectly. I'll be spending a lot of time down here. First, I just wanted to get a lot of nether stars to finish off the pocket storage quest. Each time I killed it, more and more the dormant eye would speak to me.
The shell is gone, but a fallen presence will forever remain imprinted upon this realm. Its terrifying form is destructible, but not its soul. It bears curse not dissimilar to yours. Curse of immortality.
After getting 4 nether stars, I realized I only needed 2 of them, but it was night and I went back up the ladder and went to sleep for the night. Day 80, I woke up and finally crafted the Pocket Storage Tier 4, which completed that quest line. I can now hold up to 64 slots of pretty much infinite items. I opened up the loot bags and got a loot fabricator, which I wanted to dive into soon. I checked the vending machines and went off to the nether to try and find some wither skeletons. While exploring the nether, I found a jungle temple made of wood and I altered on the entire thing. I then could convert those logs into sticks, which I could use to get more emeralds, just in case there was a deal worth buying. I then ran into another obsidian lava pillar. The first blaze I killed exploded into loot pinata. I got 21 blaze rods from 1 blaze. This affix is super overpowered. I started farming up some more blaze rods and flew around looking for wither skeletons. I found a fortress which had none, then a villager house, let him be, then a mine shaft in the lava, looted the chest and moved on. Found another fortress with still no wither skeletons, then I remembered I waystoned a dungeon that had a bunch of wither skeleton spawners. I dumped my bag, then teleported over. Then I realized I forgot to add the beheading enchant. I teleported back home, disenchanted the swords, then added beheading 4 onto my Jason sword, and began farming for heads. After farming for a bit, I actually went and gathered up 4 of the spawners. Teleported back home. When I got back home, I heard this war cry sound. I kind of got freaked out and went to sleep. Day 81! I woke up and started digging out a place to put the spawners. And turns out I had this little lake under my base. So I decided to grab some glass. That way I could see out into the water while killing the wither skeletons. I dug out the whole thing using a 3x3 pickaxe because I couldn't find my hammer that I put in my dimensional storage. I swam out to look and see what it would look like, and I spotted the first and only piece of random omium, an ore that has a chance of dropping any item in the game. I ended up getting the Santa hat. I never used it. I liked the way it was gonna look, so I opened up my storage, realized I wanted clear glass. The way you get that is by smelting down regular glass. I placed in all the glass, and outlined it in obsidian bricks on one side. I then started mass digging out the room to give me plenty of space. I then placed the spawners down and began farming. One of them exploded into a loot pinata. I ended up getting 21 gems and they don't stack, so I had to open my storage and drag all the gems in. I just continued farming until I thought I had enough. Torched the spawners, then went to check the vending machines for today. First area had a baked potato. The other area had an Awakened Supreme seed processor, as well as some blaze seed. I bought 8 of those and teleported back home. I didn't realize I didn't claim my land, so I opened my FTB map and claimed the surrounding area, and chunk loaded my tower specifically. I then was about to start farming. As the sun was setting, I decided to go back up to my room and go to sleep. Day 82! I woke up and immediately teleported back to the vending machines. This one had sesame seed in it. I teleported over to the first area and bought some Spirit Attuned gems. 8 of them. I teleported back home and started grinding out some emeralds. After grinding out all the emeralds, I bought this mecha suit from Mechanism. I never found out what it did, I just kind of bought it. Then I put my focus into getting a mystical agriculture sword. It's the only way you can get the essence easily, besides growing it or mining it. First thing I needed was more prosperity. I finally used those extra fortune tomes on the already fortune 4 pickaxe, giving it fortune 6 now. I headed down to my mine to get as much prosperity as I could, along with any Imperium essence I saw. I ended up killing these Cyclops things that dropped like 8 golden pickaxes, then continued mining for prosperity. Once I felt I had enough, I then teleported back home and started crafting everything I needed to make the Imperium sword. It was turning nighttime though, so I decided to sleep through the night. Day 83! I woke up and immediately went over to the vending machines, hoping I'd get something that would help me out in this mystical agriculture grind. Unfortunately, the only thing it had was Imperium Essence Seed, which completed a quest which was good free XP. Then the other one had a sophisticated storage module, also another free quest. I teleported back home, started getting some emeralds from all the logs I mined in the nether. I checked the other vending area, nothing there. I then teleported back home and crafted up the Imperium sword. To get to the next tier, I had to craft an infusion crystal. For every 8 essence, you get 1 of the other essence. I needed a lot of this stuff. Realizing how much I was gonna need, I headed back down into the mine to get some more essence. I ended up getting about 1k essence and teleported back home and started crafting the next tier sword, the Prudentium sword. After crafting the Prudentium sword, claiming the quest and opening the loot bags, I remembered I had 8 blocks of Imperium essence. I broke those down and it gave me a stack and 8 of the essence. I then used that essence to make the Territarium essence, the 2 ingots, 2 gems, and the Territarium sword. To get to the next tier, I need some Imperium gems. It was nighttime though, so I decided to sleep for the night, then head back into the mines, get some essence, use the essence to create the gems, and then make the others using the essence I had. Day 84! As soon as I woke up, I went to check the vending machine. The old second area had nothing, but the first area, second machine, had this item called Creative Essence. I thought it would be like unlimited essence. Unfortunately, it was just a broken item you couldn't use. Also, I bought these Lord boots that sounded cool. I then teleported back home to continue the grind for the Imperium sword, going through all the tiers individually of gems and ingots, until I got to 2 Imperium gems and 2 Imperium ingots, and then I crafted myself the Imperium sword. Instead of going into Supremium, I decided to just start there. First, I needed more arcane power for my bookshelves. I finally crafted myself some more end shelves, and then I used that to craft a Draconic end shelf. Pretty much maxed the power. It could go a little higher, but it wasn't necessary. Enchanted the sword with max sharpness, max mystical enlightenment, and max looting. Next, I wanted to dive into hostile neural networks. Made myself a deep learner and a model framework. I then opened up all the loot bags from the quest. I've gotten nothing worth noting. Then I heard the raid sound again and instantly went to bed. Day 85! I woke up and immediately got to emerald grinding. Got 32, then teleported over. Only thing I had was a chicken sandwich. I teleported back home and headed down to the wither killing box. I placed down the wither, right-clicked the card on the wither itself, placed it in the deep mob learner, and it said I had to kill a certain amount of them. after killing one, I went back home to reforge my sword. I ended up getting a 3% chance of loot pinata with a 26 attack damage. Nothing crazy. I killed a few withers. Then realized I needed a better sword. I teleported back to the portal room, jumped on in, and luck was on my side. A mythic boss spawned in and met its demise. After slaughtering that, I went into the gateway and started exploring the end. I ran into a sunken end ship with no loot, unfortunately. But then another mythic boss spawned in. I headed over and killed it. I then continued exploring, and yet again, another mythic boss spawned in. They spawn most commonly in the end. Battle ensued. This one was really strong and actually got me down to red hearts. After I killed it, I think it glitched out because it didn't even drop a mythic item. But I did find my first shulker box loot, but it had nothing in it. But I continued exploring the end, finding one of those obsidian squares that spawned a structure, looting it, and ended up having some mythic boots, and then a floating island that had a mythic chest plate. And by this time, sun was rising, and it was day 86.
Day 86! I continued exploring the end. I wanted to make sure I had enough mythical pearls.
That way I didn't have to come back. And I continued looting everything I saw in the end, from floating towers to ruined ships, and another boss spawned in. But this boss kept knocking me into space. Must have had an insane knockback on it, but eventually it met its fate. Once I killed it, my backpack was completely full. I ended up using my netherite shulker box. After loading up all the loot, I finally teleported back home. First thing I did was break down some gems to get more dust. Then I salvaged the pearls from the 2 of the mythic gear and salvaged any netherite gear. That way I could get more ingots. Then salvaged 2 more mythical gear and started reforging the Imperium sword. While doing that, I finally found my 5x5 smithing hammer as well as a chestplate with the elytra. I then wanted to try and raise my max hearts even more. I started eating everything, and I haven't eaten that I bought from the vending machines. Finally gaining another heart, it was starting to turn nighttime. Teleport over the vending machines. First had nothing. The second one had another weird spawn egg as well as another glyph from ours. I teleported over to the second area. Both had nothing. I then went to the nearest villager house and slept for the night.
Day 87! 13 days left and there's still so much to do.
I've kind of been getting distracted, but anyways, I went to go and check the vending machines. First had Imperium nuggets. I bought 8 of those. Wasn't even enough to make an ingot, unfortunately, but still good. The second one had a Lord helmet and a spawn egg. That sounded interesting, and I teleported over to the second area, which had Territarium pants. I bought it thinking that would be helpful, possibly, and it just wasn't. I then teleported back home and took a look at the Lord helmet. I wanted to replace it with the Emerald helmet. I disenchanted it, salvaged it, and then reforged the Lord helmet with 20.75 armor and 14 max health and 3 sockets. Then I tried rolling the chest plate, nothing good. Then I finally got a decent sword. Damage was a little low, but it has a 5% chance of loot pinata, which was good enough. And then crafted half the stack of wither skulls, went down to the killing chamber, and the wither grind continued. After I killed one more, I finally had enough to make Dank 7, completing the entire Dank questline. After opening a loot bag, I teleported back home and reforged my efficiency pickaxe. I was still trying to reforge the Cataclysm chestplate. I ran out of dust, so I crushed them up, then reforged my amazing bow into an epic tier 1. Then finally, reforged the chestplate, giving it 22 armor and 12 max health. I then took out my old chestplate, disenchanted it, placed the enchants on the new one, then placed the old chestplate on the armor stand. I headed back down to the Wither kill box and continued the grind for this essence. This lasted most of the night. I then wanted to get Scavenger 3 on the sword, that way I could get more essence. I grabbed out the villager and the lector and popped the lector in the box, then the villager, and bought a book. I already had Scavenger 2, so I combined the books together to get Scavenger 3, then I headed back down to continue loot killing withers.
Day 88, I teleported over to the vending machines to check out the deals for the day.
And this undead knight kinda attacked me and regretted it instantly. It also infected the villager, put it out of his misery. Then bought some new food from the first machine, then teleported back home. Since I've killed so many withers, I finally decided to make the simulation chamber, which would generate predictions that would have a chance of being wither predictions that you can convert straight into nether stars. Machines require a lot of power input. Thankfully, the solar panels is generating more than enough power. After emptying my backpack, more soul sand. I went back to the nether and flew around till I found some. I collected a whole bunch, that way I shouldn't need any more. After I felt I had enough, I teleported back home and went down to the wither box and yet again continued grinding out the withers. After a while, I thought I had enough. I started making some premium essence, but it wasn't enough. I went back down into the mine and continued killing more. I killed so many withers. After I ran out of resources, I went back to the nether to get some more as the sun rose on day 89.
Day 89, I'm in the nether trying to find a soul sand valley.
I finally found one, grabbed a whole bunch of soul sand, and killed it with a skeleton, teleported back home, and I want to do some quests with some nether stars today. I ended up making the Heart of the Cosmos, as well as the Eternal Cake, which is a cake that would replenish itself over time. I popped it on top of the Neptunium block, took a bite, then claimed the quest, opened up my loot bag, and got my very own vending machine, which was huge. Now I could check it every day without having to leave my house. I placed it down in my house. The first thing it was offering was olives. Bought one, then I went back down to continue my wither grind. Once the sun started to set, I went back up and slept for the night. Day 90. 10 more days left. Wow, that's crazy. My home vending machine deal had cooked kangaroo. I bought it, then I went to go and check the other locations. The first one had some food, and the other location had this power thing I never used. I teleported back home. I still needed more. I went back down to my wither skeleton farm and started farming skulls from the dawn of day. After gaining a heart, I killed withers till the dusk of night.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting, and they had to hire a new one.
Once my wither charm was about to break, I teleported back home, repaired the charm, and slept for the night.
Day 91! I woke up and checked the vending machine at my house, and I bought a quesadilla. Then went back to it and bought terracotta, thinking I'd use it for brownie pots, but I had no time for that. After dumping out my backpack into the computer, I teleported over to the second vending area. Bought this Lucky Box sword in the first and cheese in the second. I teleported to the first and bought a tomato. Then teleported home. And I was able to make 2 gems, but I needed more for the ingots. I then continued the long wither killing grind. I hope you enjoyed this little speed up. This went into the entire night until the sunrise. I went back up the ladder and slept to send it into day 92. Day 92! Today was the day all of that wither killing finally paid off. I went and crafted 2 ingots, went to disenchant it, then finally crafted it, the Supremium Sword. Now when I kill these withers, they will drop Supremium Essence. The long grind was finally over. I then put the enchant on the Supremium Sword and tried to reforge it, seeing if I can get lucky the first time. And Minecraft RNG gods were on my side. I rolled a 4% chance of Loot Pinata with a 33.5 attack damage and the ability to be socketed 3 times. Today I wanted to test it out. I got Loot Pinata after 3 kills. Not bad. I teleported over the first vending area and saw a big pipe door. Bought it immediately. Then teleported over to the second, which had phantom spawn eggs from the Abyss mod. And remembered you could craft something insane with them. I ended up teleporting back home and slaughtering each one with a Jason sword. Unfortunately, I forgot you need to go to the dimension and find Titan bones to be able to do anything. I then went down to the Wither Skeleton spawner, started gathering skulls. After I had enough, I went down to the Wither Killing box to test out this Supremium Sword. The first wither I killed gave me Loot Pinata. I ended up with 63 essence from 1 kill. I then ended the day by sleeping for the night, feeling very accomplished. Day 93! I woke up and crafted a Supremium Crystal and then had enough to create 7 Insanium Essence. That's more than enough. I claimed the quest and opened the loot bundle and got a safe. I then destroyed some of the wall and placed it in. Now today I have to be focused on creating the advanced crafting table for the creative item itself. I need a glowstone. I went down to my portal, walked in, flew over, used my Fortune 6 pickaxe and grabbed probably way more than I needed. Came back home and started crafting each component needed to make the first tiered crafting table. Then used 3 of those to create the advanced crafting table. Went down to my main entrance, placed it in the front of the fireplace. I then went to check what else I would need to make this dragon steel. That's not too bad. At this point it was raining and the sun was setting. I then decided to sleep for the night to save my frames. Day 94! I woke up and checked my vending machines, bought some chicken noodle soup, then teleported to the other locations. The first had a mechanism quest I didn't have time for. Maybe in the next 200 days. I teleported over to the second area. First one had this thing called a diamond mini chest. I have no idea what it did, and I still don't. I then teleported over to the end portal frame with some end crystals and summoned the dragon.
What a horrible existence. Brought back from the dead, only to be slain once more. You must truly be devoid of compassion.
Letting it live to try and get it to produce dragon breath. After killing it with my supreme sword, no Loot Pinata, unfortunately. After collecting the egg, I then teleported home and I wanted to set up the wither in the simulation chamber. I made some predictions, placed it in. Then I wanted to do the ender dragon as well. After making more crystals, when I spawned it in, I right-clicked it with an empty card. I was just trying to get it to spit fireballs at me, collecting its breath from the one it shot at me. I never really realized how you got the breath at first, but after a few tries, finally figured it out. Day 95! I was still in the end. The sun rose on day 95. Killing this one, I was out of Christmas again. I teleported back home, I made one more, spawned it in again, and this try was the one where I figured it out. Slaughtering it, grabbing the loot XP, and while trying to grab the egg, this weird zombie approached me. After killing it, exploded into a loot pinata. I dragged all, then jumped in the portal, respawning in. It reset my hearts. Very strange. I then started repairing my gear and went to check the simulation chamber and already had 20 wither predictions and 21 generalized N1s. Each wither prediction was 1 nether star. And put the Ender Dragon one in, just in case I didn't have enough. She had way more than I needed. I then put the wither predictions inside the loot fabricator, took out all the nether stars I had from killing the withers, and oh wow, that's a lot of nether stars. I placed down that diamond main chest, opened it, and got even more confused. While repairing all my gear, I wanted to upgrade it using the Ignitium. I grabbed it out, put it in the smithing table, and there were now Ignitium boots, which were unbreakable and gave you the ability to lava walk. Since it was night, I decided to sleep, then check the deals in the morning. Day 96! I woke up and immediately checked the vending areas. First machine had nothing, but the second had an Insanium sickle. I bought one only, then went to check the other area. Some food, then teleported home. Seeing that you couldn't salvage without getting into immersive engineering, a mod I knew little to nothing about, I then realized I needed appetite dust to make it. Immediately went down to my mine with my Fortune 6 pick and mined up as much as I think I would need. Teleported back home, realizing I needed control circuits to make a crusher, which crushes the appetite into dust. I set up my elite infusing factory I had from the vending machine, then the crusher, and started crushing it into dust. While crushing, I realized I could upgrade it to its next tier. Doing this allowed me to crush 3 slots worth at one time. After claiming the quest, I opened a loot bundle and an amethyst golem. I spawned him in and immediately, finally, I have a friend. I then looked to see what was the last thing to make dragon steel. Turns out you need netherite dust. Fortunately, I've been getting a lot while doing this. I set up a way to triple your ancient debris using the crusher and the enrichment chamber. Having way more than I needed, I made the dragon steel compound. The perfect amount I needed, instant smelted it, made the 4 gears I needed to create the creative item. I then went to see what I had to make next. I needed 8 shellite plates. To make the plates, you need a machine called the multi-servo press. I then started crushing the ingots into dust form. Realizing the process was going too slow, I decided to craft up another basic crushing factory. Day 97. The sun was rising as I was setting up my second crushing factory. After crushing down all the ingots into dust and dust into the bronze I needed, started making the shellite compound. I was able to make 22 compounds. While I was waiting, I put in the 4 gears and the Insanium essence I needed to craft this thing. After the process was done, I needed Constantine blend, which required nickel. This took a while. Nickel was not common. I flew around the mine a long time until I finally thought I had enough. I teleported back home, started making it into ingots. Then I took the ingots and started crushing them. First the nickel, then the copper, then I checked the simulation chamber to see 1 Ender Dragon prediction. I then placed it in the loot fabricator to convert it into Dragon's Breath. Once I had enough, I made the Constantine Grit, smelted it into ingots, made them into 2 gears, then crafted the multi-servo press. I then smelted the shellite into ingots, placed it in the multi-servo press, and started making 8 plates. I claimed my quest, opened up the loot bundle, and started working on the Ender Star you needed. First, need a ending crafting table. Day 98. I could not figure out how this thing worked. I crafted up a manual. Read, you need these Enderman alternators, at least 4, around the table. I then moved the table and the alternators down next to the advanced crafting table, and it finally worked. Started making the Ender Stars, then I made the Ender Stars. After doing that, these last 2 days, I did nothing but create the reclamation chambers from the first tier all the way to the last one. I had everything crafted up that I needed, and then I finally crafted the creative item. After doing that, I ended up making myself an angel ring. Just involved a lot of stuff I already had, and that's it. I completed my 100 days challenge. I spent weeks putting this video together, and I would love to do it again. If you want to see a 200 days, please leave a like. 100 likes, and we do a 200 days in this series.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this 100 days challenge. If you made it to the end, you deserve a gold star. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.